With MCC Season 2 all wrapped up and the Nox crew taking a long, well-deserved break, I thought it'd be the perfect time to update my rankings for every MCC player in a tier list. Remember, this is just my opinion, so let me know yours down below in the comments. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, enjoy. Alright, so before we get started, really quick, we have to go through the tiers that we're going to be ranking the players in today. Starting at the top, we have S tier. Below that, we have A+ tier. Next up, we have A tier. At fourth, we have B tier. And finally, of course, we have C tier. Most of these tiers, I think, are fair. A+ tier just means that they're not S tier quite yet, but they are the best of the best A tiers. So yeah, it's a little in the middle part that a lot of people on the Reddits and other MCC places do put players here just to make it fair, because there is a difference, I'll say. And also we have can't rank / don't know, which is for all of the MCC underdog players and for players that haven't played in a while or have only played in non-canon events, and I can't properly rank them in this list. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first up we have FiveUp. FiveUp, I think, he's not A tier, I think he's A+ tier. We've seen that he's able to get almost top 5, just around that, and he's not able to get inside the top 10 every single time he plays, but like whenever he like try hards, he's able to get inside the top 10. So I would say he's a really good A+ tier. And then when he's paired with an S tier, most of the time I think he's gotten top 11, top 12ish. So yeah, FiveUp is pretty darn good when it comes to teaming with an S tier. And when he's by himself, I think he is a little bit worse, but I think he's really good to have on a team with an S tier. And yeah, he's a really solid and one of the best A tiers. So yeah, I think he deserves A+ tier. Next up, we have AimZ. AimZ, I think she's C tier. I don't think she's probably gotten 25th to 20th before, maybe in like the late 20s, I think, a couple of times. But I've never really seen her get past that, and most of the time she's placing 30th to 40th. So yeah, I'm gonna put AimZ in C tier. She does have some pop-off potential, but she hasn't really shown us her full potential yet. So yeah, until we see that, I'm gonna keep AimZ in C tier. Next up, we have Bad Boy Halo. Bad deserves B tier. Bad used to be C tier, probably at the beginning of season 2. But now he's definitely B tier. Bad has definitely popped off lately, and he's done really well. And he's able to consistently get top 25 every single time he plays. So yeah, Bad's one of the better B tiers, if I'm being honest. He's a really solid player. Next up, we have Blushy. I don't know. I think Blushy is. I'm probably gonna check this one. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put Blushy in C tier. She might be a B tier, but most of the time I think she is like the 4th best player on most of her teams. Because like in MCC Rising, she was the 4th best player, and we all know how that turned out. But again, that is non-canon. So I'm gonna check her teams and her stats to see if she's like a 4th or a 3rd player. But yeah, right now I think C tier is fine for her. But let me check. Next up, we have George Not Found, one of the best A tiers, and he's like a top 15 MCC player, to be honest. George is really cracked. I mean, him and Dream are an insane duo, probably top 3 strongest MCC duos. I mean, they've been together so many times and go to Dodgeball so much. I think they've gone to Dodgeball almost every single time they've teamed. Maybe like once or twice they haven't, but majority of the time they go to Dodgeball whenever they're teams. So yeah, George is definitely an A+ tier. And yeah, one of the best MCC players besides the S tiers. Next up, we have Captain Puffy. Captain Puffy is pretty good most of the time, but she has been having some of her worst events in the past couple events she's played in. But throughout season 2, she's mostly tried to stay consistent and getting top 30, just not really consistently getting top like 25. But she is one of the better C tiers out there, if I'm being honest. Next up, we have Cub Fan, or Dub Fan, as some of you call him. And yeah, Cub is a solid B tier. I mean, he's shown in MCC 20 that he can be a really good 3rd player on a MCC team. Like when it was MCC 20 was him, False, Illumina, and SB, and he was a really good 3rd player. I think he got like 17th or something like that. He did really well, got top 20, I think. helped them get the dodgeball, and of course lost. But I think if Cub does get on teams like that more often, and he's able to get the dodgeball a couple more times in season 3 or something like that, I think he could actually end up getting I know he already has a win from MCC 10, I think, with Pete and Joel and False, I think, yeah. But it would be really cool to see him get a win with some new people in season 3. So yeah, if he's able to, he'd be a really good third player on a dodgeball team. Next up, we have Foolish. Foolish, I think, is a really solid A tier player. Like, I mean, he's getting top 20 like most of the events I think he's played. So like he just needs to find that pop off where he's able to get like top 12, like FiveUp and George have. But once he finds that, I think he could actually be one of the better MCC players because he is really good all around. Like he's not the best PvPer, but he can PvP, sorry, if he wants to. But he's really good at like more of like a he's really good with a bow, and he is a really good builder, as people know. So he would be good at build marts. Most of the time, I think that's one of his better games. I think, and then he'd probably be really good at team games if you really wanted to focus in on that. And then, of course, movements, I think he's pretty average in. Maybe he's good in some movement games, but I think overall he's pretty decent in movement. So yeah, Foolish is a really good all around great player and is able to get top 20 easily. So. And sometimes he's able to get top 15. I think he's gotten it once. Maybe he's gotten 15th once, but he's a really solid A tier. Next up, we have Eretz. Eretz C tier. Not really much to say. His season 1 was better than his season 2, so I'm just gonna put him in C tier. But yeah, he did help MCC 23 Orange do really good and get that win. But other than that, yeah, season 2's kind of been bland for him. Next up, we have False. False, I put in B tier along with Cub. I think they're very similar. I know Cub's probably had a better season 2 than False. False has had a really bad season 2 besides MCC 17. She's gone like bottom 30 or bottom 20, sorry, most of the time. So her season 1 is definitely much better than her season 2, but doesn't mean that her season 2 didn't have some high points like MCC 17. And yeah, she is a really solid third player on a team. So yeah, she's a solid B tier. Dr. Gulan, C tier. Not really much to say. One of the simmers. Finster is a good, solid third player on a team, kind of like bad B tier. And Finn also has won dodgeball 2 out of the 3 times he's played in canon events in season 2. So he does have good consistency. Flip is also B tier, except for he hasn't played in a while, so he might go down a little bit to C tier. I don't think he won't go that far down to C tier, but he hasn't played in a while, so I don't know. But I think he'd still be able to get top 25 if he played in events now. But yeah, it'd be really cool to see him return. Next up, we have Fruitberries, and of course, he is our first S tier of the day. One of the best MCC players, huge pop-off potential, easily top 3 when he's trying. Next up, we have G Nelly. She's a C tier. I thought she would really improve in her later MCC season 2 events because 18, I think, was her first event, if I'm not mistaken, and she did do really well helping that team get to dodgeball. Ever since then, she's kind of like trickled down a little bit, but she did help the Emerald Elves get the dodgeball in MCC 28. So maybe she does have a little bit of promise going into season 3. But yeah, right now C tier. Next up, we have Anfrost. He's also like probably the closest player to S tier right now out of like the A+ tiers and out of anybody below S tier. He's probably the closest, so I'll put him, I guess, at the top. Yeah, I'll probably also put George ahead of FiveUp. But Ant basically will be an S tier. My prediction, I think, was like within the first 3 events of season 3, maybe within the first 5, just in case he has a couple bad ones or isn't able to play. But yeah, Ant is correct and easily can get top 10. So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to become an S tier because that'd be really cool. Next up, we have Green, the man himself. Green is a solid B tier player. I wish I could put him in A tier, but his only like top 10 performance was 5th place in MCC 17, which would probably get him in one of these 2 slots. But Ever since then, he's been really inconsistent, sadly. So yeah, he's in B tier, but he's a really, really solid B tier player because he does have huge pop off potential. As next up, we have Hbomb. I have no idea where to put Hbomb. I feel like, dude, this is so 50-50 because he should probably be here, but I just feel like putting him in S tier at this point is right. Like, I know, look, Illumina's S tier, we all know that, but, like, Hbomb, like, he's been in A+ tier or H tier for so long that I just feel like I have to keep him in S tier. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to put him in S tier. He kind of deserves it. He's been in his own tier or A+ tier for so long that I feel like his first place in 24 really cemented him as an S tier. And his leadership, his ability to get you to dodge bolt and give you a chance to win is crazy. Like, he's the best player at doing that. Maybe Dream is slightly better, but Hbomb does have the most dodge bolt appearances, which is really something when you want to win. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the entire purpose of the event is to win and have fun and play Minecraft with your friends. And, like, Hbomb does that the best. He has fun. He wins, or at least gives you a good chance to win, and he does it with his friends or with people he's really never like met or talked to that much before, like Tommy and Jack. Like, sure, he talked to them before, but he's never really like, done like an entire event with them before. So it was like really interesting to see him do that. So yeah, that's why Hbomb is S tier. If you disagree, then let me know in the comments because I'm really interested to see why people disagree with Hbomb not being S tier. Anyways, next up we have another S tier. Connor eats pants. Wow, look at that, 3 S tiers in a row. That's crazy. No, yeah, Connor's C tier. Barely plays Minecraft, but he is really funny. Like, he's actually hilarious. Next up we have Martin, aka In the Littlewood. I also have no clue where to put him. Wow. He should be an A tier, but I feel like in recent events he's been more like a B tier player. Like, at the beginning of season 2, he was probably an A tier, but now I feel like throughout the middle of season 2 and throughout his last couple events, I feel like he's been more B tier. So, like, I don't know, cause like, is he up here with Foolish and Captain and like Scott? Who else do I have in here? Like, I don't know. Phil. Like, is he up here with all these guys? All these people? I don't know. Right now I'm gonna keep him there, but I'll let you guys know if I move him down to B tier at the end of the video, because I actually might. Martin's really interesting. Next up we have Bitzel. The only reason I put Bitzel here was because I feel like it was right. Like, he probably should be in here because he hasn't played in so long, but I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't going to be right if I didn't put Bitzel in here. Yeah, Bitzel's B tier. He's never really been a really great secondary player, but like in MCC 6, when he got his only win, he was a really good third player. So yeah, Bitzel's kind of cracked when he tries, at least most of the time. Or besides MCC 6, he kind of didn't really try. He's kind of just fooling around with like Tommy people. So, but Bitzel's kind of funny, I guess, sometimes. Next up, we have Jack Manifold. Again, I want to put him in C tier, but his stats just don't lie, and he's B tier. But he still does suck at dodgeball. Like, you can't take that away from him. I'm sorry, Jack, but that smile is not gonna get rid of the fact that you suck at dodgeball. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was kind of mean, but I don't know. Jack's just so he's so hateable when it comes to MCC. Like, he's so easy to hate on, but he is funny with Tommy, so I'll give him that. Next up, we have Fundy. Some people probably get mad at me for not putting him in A tier, but I think Fundy still deserves to be an A+ tier. I mean, bro was cracked before he left the event, like literally top 8 almost every single time he played. It was insane. I love Fundy too. He's one of my favorite content creators in Minecraft right now. I love him. Next up, we have Antvenom. Antvenom is a really solid B tier player. I think he actually is one of the best shots of being an A tier player, to be honest, in the future. Like, I really think in season 3, if he improves and goes on a training arc enough, he really could be an A tier. Like, he has that skill set, kind of like Jordan. Him and Jordan, I think, are very similar. Not just because they're both old, but I think they both have very similar skill sets, except for Antvenom's way better hole in the wall. But other than that, I think they're very similar, and I think Antvenom could be a lot like Jordan. Next up, we have Kratzy or Dave. Easily A plus tier. I already said it before. He would be S tier if he had S tier leadership, which he doesn't. And yeah, it kind of holds him back because he's treated like an S tier, and Scott doesn't pair him up with any of these players here, and rarely pairs him up with any of these A tier players. And most of the time, he gets paired with like maybe one of the lesser or one one of the worst A tiers, and then it gets paired with like maybe like two B tiers or one B tier and one C tier, and it doesn't really work out. They don't really do that good. So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to be paired with more of these players more often, so he's able to get another win and show that he does have S tier leadership by leading them there. But you never know. Anyways, next up we have Cryptic Zeus, really solid B tier player. Zeus has turned it around so well. Perfect example of going on a training arc really changes. I mean, he's like almost guaranteed top 25 unless he's playing with the Simmers. The Simmers hold him back, but if he's not playing with the Simmers, then yeah, top 25. Let's go Zeus. Next up we have Tubbo. Tubbo is also a solid A tier. Like, I think Tapl is really good and has shown, like, in MCC 28, even though it was one of the weaker Season 2 events, he showed that he was crazy. I mean, he placed higher than Antfrost. He got 7th. Like, no one expected that. He was a sub. Like, seriously, that's crazy. Tapl is cracked when he's not doing some stupid challenge for, like, Twitch in MCC. Other than that, he's, like, most of the time amazing. So, yeah. Next up, we have Vixstar. C tier, but she said she was going on a training arc kind of like Zeus, so maybe she's able to turn it around like Zeus in Season 3. We'll just have to wait and see, folks. Next up, we have Ludwig. Only played in two canon events if you're counting 13, which I probably should, so yeah. Only played in 2 canon events, and has gotten like bottom 30 in both, but he tries, and he's funny, so I guess that counts for something. Next up, we have Krinios. Krinios is so interesting. Wow. He should be here. Like, I feel like he really, I mean, technically, like, I don't know, I'm still in the mindset of only Season 2, but Season 1 still counts. So, like, I feel like I have to put him in here. I mean, he's literally, like, top 15 every single time he plays. And, like, he has the potential to get 10th, 8th, 7th. Like, he has, like, the Fundy or Captain Sparkles or Antfrost, like, pop-off placements where he's able to get top 10. So, yeah, I think Krinios is actually... We're going off of both seasons, which I think I probably should from now on, because otherwise it's kind of not fair. I think Krinios is actually A+ tier. I think he's better than all of these players down here. So, yeah, that's fair. Maybe you'd probably put him in here because of his somewhat bad performances. That he's only had like 2. I feel like people over exaggerate. I used to over exaggerate about how many bad performances he had in Season 2. It was only like 2. He had like 3. He's played in like 5 times, I think, in Season 2. He had 2 bad ones, 3 good ones. It's not that bad. So yeah, I think he's A+ tier is fair for Krinios. Next up, we have Puns, obvious S tier. Probably one of the weaker S tiers, but nonetheless, still S tier. Congratulations, Puns. I mean, he's been S tier for so long. What am I saying? Next up, we have Quackity. Quackity's so interesting because isn't he still in like law school or whatever? Someone comment down below and tell me, like, what's the update on Quackity? Where is he? Like, what is he doing now? I know he streams on his alt Twitch channel where he just streams in like only Mexican. I think he only speaks Mexican, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him on Twitch once when I was just scrolling through. And yeah, that's kind of cool, but right now he hasn't played in MCC since, what, 15? I think it was 15 or 16. It's been a while. I think it was before MCC 19 when he left. It might have been, 18. He might have left after 18. Anyways, it would be cool to see Quackity back. Next up, we have Quig, obvious S tier. Hopefully Quig hasn't quit MCC. It literally hasn't been like the past 4 or 5 events. Like, it feels like it's been so long since we've seen Quig in MCC. So hopefully Season 3 is his comeback season. Next up, we have Preston. Some people are gonna get mad at me for this, but I'm putting Preston in B tier. All right, he got 12th his first MCC. 12th. That is crazy. That's actually insane. You literally hit top 12 in your first MCC. Like, that's actually unbelievable. Especially with Preston. Preston's considered like an old man. He's literally considered worse than like Ant Venom to some people. Worse than Jordan. Like, these three are like the oldest, probably. Some of the oldest. One of like them and like probably a couple of Hermits and maybe like Joel or Green are some of the oldest in MCC. And also I guess Hbomb I think is too. But like Preston is a solid third. Like, think about it. If you put Preston on a team, he's not going to be the worst player. Like, if he's the worst player, then your team's actually insane. He's definitely going to be the third worst player. Like, he's going to be the third player. There's going to be someone that's probably slightly worse than him. So, yeah, I think Preston it's fair to put him in a B tier because he did get 26th. He got 26th, 22nd, and 12th, I think, in his 3 events that he's played. So that's really decent. So yeah, B tier. Congratulations, Preston. Next up, we have Vixstar. Vixstar, I think, should probably be A tier if we're basing it off of his one event. I don't want to put him A tier because I don't think he'd be that good if he came back to MCC now. I feel like he'd probably be worse. Not that worse, but I feel like he'd probably be like at the similar skill level to like one of these B tier players. But maybe he could prove me wrong if he came back in Season 3 for like a non-canon event. That'd be cool to see because it'll give me a reason to put him in one of these tiers. Anyways, next up we have Wilbur Soot. Wilbur is usually the worst player on his team. That's the only reason I'm putting him in C tier. He has like the skill set of a B tier player at his best, but he's usually like the worst player on his team, so I'm gonna put him in C tier. But most of the time, like because it's like he always plays with like his friends, or he plays with like Wilbur or Scott and Shovel. So it's like it's hard to like pair him. Like, he's usually paired up with like Shovel, so it's like him and Shovel, or like him and somebody else. And usually like the other person he's paired with, that's like a C tier, is usually like slightly worse than him. So I guess I don't know. I guess I probably should put Wilbur in B tier. He's probably B tier. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I didn't put him in B tier. Yeah, he is. Anyways, next up we have Technoblade. Of course, Techno is S tier. Rest in peace to the blood god himself. I love you, Techno. S tier all the way. Probably the best MCC player to ever play, if we're being honest. I mean, he's just insane. Anyways, next up we have Rambo. I'm gonna put Rambo in A tier. I think he's one of the better A tiers, but I don't think he's A plus tier, guys. I know some people are gonna put him in A plus tier just because, like, you know, he's gotten top 5 before, like 4th place in MCC 19. And yeah, 19 was probably one of the more competitive MCC Season 2 events, but I don't know, man. It's so hard to rank Rambo because, like, he probably should have the skill set to be top 5 or to be at least top 8, 10 most of the time. It's just that he either gets a really bad team or a potentially really good team, depending on how he plays most of the time. So, yeah, it's mostly Rambo's fault, I think, if he doesn't get the dodge bolt. Or sometimes it actually isn't his fault. Like, survival games was not his fault, like the 3 times that he's missed out because of it. It's just that he just is not good at survival games, and his team is never good at survival games. Like, seriously, except for MCC 18, I guess, but they also didn't score enough to win, so technically not good. But most of the time his teams are just not equipped for survival games, to really any finale game in which they have to win. But MCC 28 Red was so unlucky because they got 3rd somehow. So that was unlucky. But I think Rambo does show signs of A plus tier, just not yet, guys. I'm sorry. Alright, that's my little spiel on Rambo. I think he's a really great A tier player, just not A plus tier yet. Next up we have Wisp. Wisp is a solid B tier. Well, I want to say B tier. Yeah, I think Wisp is. I don't know. Wisp is probably actually C tier, but he has the potential to be B tier. He just hasn't really shown us that much because the couple events he has been in this season, he hasn't really done that great. If I'm being honest. Sorry, Wisp. Why did I say Wisp? Wisp. Sorry. He did win MCC 14. I'll give him that. But other than that, he hasn't really done that great in Season 2. Next up, we have Hannah XX Rose. one of the more controversial players in MCC. But yeah, I think A tier is fair. I mean, she probably should be an A plus tier by now. Like some people were expecting her to be an A plus tier by now, because kind of like JoJo and Purple, where she like have a one bad event or one decent event, getting like 15th, 17th, something like that, and then pop off. And she didn't really do that. Like she's kind of like she's like the most like I feel like she's not average, but she's so like she gets 15th, 17th, 18th, 20th, like 14th. She doesn't really like get that high of placements that you expect her to, but she does. She still does like really good. I just don't think she's able to like lead a team. I think she needs to be paired with an S tier to do really well, like JoJo, like they were. Just do it again. Maybe with like someone like Puns, maybe Quig if he comes back. Maybe you can even do a Fruit or one of Fruit Ninja, but or maybe even Purple. I don't know if I think Purple would be a little bit too good though. So yeah, maybe. Anyways, next up we have Impulse. Impulse, really solid B tier, kind of like Becky. Very similar players, really good B tiers. And yeah, Impulse is just all around kind of great guy and great MCC player. That's all I really got to say. Next up we have SB. I mean, man's gone 7th 3 times somehow. The MCC gods are like, yep, you're getting the same placement 3 times in a row. And now and it's so funny because he's like, he's SB 737. And he's gone 7th 3 times in a row. Like, at this point, just add a third 7 to your name, dude. Like, seriously. You're never going to get away from that. You're going to be known as the 7th boy, the 7th guy. So, yeah, SB is insane. A plus tier, man. Next up, we have Tommy. Coincidentally, also A plus tier. I mean, Tommy has shown that he can be crazy on a really good team. Getting 5th, I think, top 5 twice in season 2, which is bonkers if I'm being honest. He's also gotten top 5, I think, in MCC season 1 as well. So that's also really. And as our third final player, we have Tapl. Harvey is so interesting because like I think he should be A plus, but like he's had some inconsistencies. But like season 1, he did amazing. Like season 1 was actually insane. I think he got top 10 every single time he played, except for once. And he played like 5 times, so really consistent. Season 2 did really well. 15 went off, got 2nd place. Went a little bit inconsistent down the line in like 22. He got like 24th. And then he kind of went back up, got like 14th, 15th in a couple events. So he still has that like pop off potential that he's always had. It's just that it's whether or not he wants to harness it, depending on like what kind of team he's on. Like if he knows he can win, he'll probably try his best. But I just want to see him like paired with like one of these. Like if they pair him with like Fruit Ninja, that'd be so cool. Like pair him with Fruit Ninja and then put like Zeus, not Zeus actually, that'd be too powerful. Put him with like I don't know, Blushie or some one of the like 2 C tiers. That'd be so fun. Like actually, that'd be a cracked team. I'd love to see that. Anyways, second last player we have Sylvie. Now Sylvie is also one of the most improved players. Like seriously, she's also top 3 along with CPK most improved players, and easily will go in A tier. I mean, who doesn't love Sylvie at this point? Sylvie is crazy. One of the better A tiers, also by the way. Like she's awesome. Who doesn't love Sylvie? Great secondary player to have, and of course, last but certainly not least, you can't go one event without saying his name. It's the man himself, Dream. I mean, you can never get away from him. Dream is actually like the worst MCC player though. Like seriously, he's just dumb. No one likes Dream. Like seriously, he's annoying. He has no good leadership qualities. Like seriously, George is better than him at leadership. No one really likes Dream. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Sorry. That was really mean for a second. It was actually getting really mean. But yeah, we all love Dream. Dream's S tier, of course he is. Like arguably one of the better all-time MCC players, right up there with Pete, maybe Illumina. Actually, yeah, Illumina. Sorry, Sapnap. So yeah, Dream, one of the stronger S tiers. We all love him. Some people hate him, but most of us love him. And yeah, there's gonna do it. I'm gonna zoom out one final time for my final rankings. But yeah, that was a long list. Wow. Can't believe I got it done. It only took like an hour, I think. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below and click on one of these videos to keep on watching my content. Anyways, peace.